Welcome to Whisperwood Stories. Today we read 2 stories from r/shortscarystories. Let's begin. Our first story is a submission from user Efficient Rub. After all this time. What you're about to hear is a transcribed message from witness Jessica Paul to death row inmate number ES76594 on the day of his execution. I want to tell you a story about myself. About something that happened in my past. Most people would agree that what I went through was traumatic. I was abducted and killed by a serial killer whose name I never learned and whose face I cannot remember. A hiker found my body in the woods and called 911, as any reasonable person would. Somehow, even with a 6-inch knife in my stomach and other various minor injuries, I was still alive. I woke up in the hospital 3 days later. The police pestered me with questions for weeks while I recovered, and it pissed me off how much I couldn't remember. That bastard deserved to rot in prison after what he did to me. The police eventually stopped with the questions, and the prints they had gotten off of the knife were not in the system, so the trail eventually died. There wasn't much that could be done. That pissed me off even more. Before I knew it, I was obsessed with my own murder case. I wanted to find out who was behind it. I needed to. I went back to every place I could remember being before I woke up in that dingy basement chained up like an animal. I won't go into detail about what happened next. It's far too painful to think about. Too much time had passed and the case went cold. It seemed as if he'd disappeared off of the face of the earth. I gave up searching, accepting that he'd probably fled to another town by now. I mean, if you were a serial killer, you'd be stupid to hang around here, especially with a living victim. At least that's what I would think. My friends invited me to a bar one night to clear my head after the last few months. I happily agreed. I walked inside, though, and something felt off. I looked around anxiously, and that's when I saw you. A sense of familiarity came over me, like I had met you before, but I couldn't remember where. That's when it hit me. Suddenly, I was back in that basement. I had just woken up, and I saw you. You pulled the black mask down off of your face, and for a split second, I got a good look at you before you saw I was awake. Our eyes met in that bar. That slight look of shock on your face confirmed my suspicions. You were my killer, or I guess, attempted killer. You thought I was dead. You thought wrong. After all this time, I finally found you. You're strapped in that chair, with that needle in your arm, and you're right where you belong. Enjoy hell, you bastard. Our second story is from user Dashi. Heartless. I've listened to so much medical equipment that it no longer registers. Even if it alarms, the sound fades into the background. Alarm fatigue is real, after all. Authorities still searching for this man, Carl Dios, who shot a local woman, Juliet Hartsby. Dios is said to be in the area. Please contact the police with any information of his whereabouts. Even the news blends into the other sounds. The light of the fading sun starts to disappear. Apropos, the dying light matches the hell I felt the past 4. The nurses are going to kick me out soon. Policy, they say. Doesn't matter. It's still the worst aspect of my life, parting from her. I tuck my heart in under the blankets I brought in from home. The hospital gets very cold at night, almost like they forgot to pay the heating bill. I do everything I can for her. Bathing, hair care, mouth care, any non-medical thing I can do. The nurses are so overwhelmed nowadays. Only way to ensure that she gets the best care is to do it myself. The commute home isn't long, but I've made it into a ritual to prepare for the next day. Flowers for the nurses and to brighten her room. Art supplies for decorating. I would hate it if the first thing my heart saw when she wakes up was a dreary hospital room. I get home to tend to the menagerie. Dogs get walked, cats are cuddled, birds let out to stretch their wings, rodents fed. They've quieted down since she left, like their souls try to find her. Can't say I blame them. She's the light in all of our lives. I descend to the basement for the final step to my ritual. A bloodied man sits in a chair, tied down. He recognizes me, and although he wants to scream and yell, all that comes out are pained wheezes from the hole in his neck. I'm a fast learner. Medical staff love to nerd out about procedures they do, and the useful facts they rattle off manage to fill the void in my chest. Let them prattle on hard enough, and they don't notice when certain medications and supplies go missing. All I make out from his silent lips is, "You're heartless." "Of course I am, Carl," I reply, grabbing a scalpel in preparation for the second best part of my day. You ensured that. Thank you for listening to Whisperwood Stories. If you enjoyed, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe down below. Do you have a story that you'd like me to read here? Consider commenting or sending it to whisperwoodsubmissions@gmail.com. The stories in this video were read with the author's permissions. Thank you again for listening, and be sure to check out the original Reddit posts. Want to support me? Check the link below where you can leave a tip if you wish. And remember, don't let the shadows get too close. Good night.